Hello, everyone. My name is Harini Krishnan, and I go to Folsom High School. Welcome to Know Your Charity, a talk show series that I'm honored to be hosting in 2021. The intent of this series is to bring representatives or leaders of various nonprofit, charitable, and voluntary organizations in the greater Sacramento area. I'm hoping through this series, we get to hear some of the great humanitarian work that these people and their organizations do for the community. This will serve as an inspiration for students and their families to help out in the community, especially during this pandemic. Today, we have Sister Libby with us today. Sister Libby is the founder of Mercy Peddlers. She joined the United Air Force in 1979, where she started serving others. She received a congressional appointment to the USAF Academy with the desire to serve and protect her country. In 1990, she completed her master's in social work from Sacramento State. She then entered the Sisters of Mercy. In 2001, she created and directed a new program at Loaves Fishes called Genesis Mental Health, serving homeless men and women with psychiatric services. In 2006, she became the executive director of all of Loaves Fishes until June of 2017. Thank you so much, Sister Libby, for coming. We are really excited to have you.
Thank you, Harini. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let's get started. So can you talk to us a little bit about Loaves Fishes and what you do?
Oh, you betcha. I served at Loaves and Fishes over 20 years of my life. I started out as a volunteer back in 1985, just kind of searching where God was calling me to serve. And we have lots of volunteers there. Over 1,000 come through there each month, including high school kids. They allow children from various schools, 12 kids each weekend on Saturday and Sunday. Now with COVID, there's less volunteers and a little bit more restrictions, but volunteers are so needed to get that experience of serving those who are poor and homeless. So Loaves and Fishes is an organization that has its Catholic roots of what we call Catholic workers. And in 1983, Chris and Dan Delaney, a former priest and nun, opened its doors to Loaves and Fishes, serving homeless men mainly at that time who were hungry on the streets. So their philosophy is based on Matthew 25, when I was hungry, you fed me. So they opened their doors in serving homeless men mainly at that time. And today, after 30 years of services, Loaves and Fishes has grown into 5 acres, serving 14 different programs, including Genesis Mental Health, which I opened up, to Mustard Seed School, a school for homeless children, to Mary House, where women can get showers and hygiene items, to jail visitation, where we actually visit people in the jail who are homeless, to serving up to 800 folks each day on the campus of Loaves and Fishes.
Oh my God, that's so amazing, all of the amazing work you guys do. So do you mainly serve homeless or is that who you mainly focus on?
It is mainly for those who are homeless because we try to provide survival services, showers, hygiene items, try to connect with each person one-on-one to help them get into shelters and permanent supportive housing. But it's for anyone in need. So if you're hungry, we never turn away anyone. So anyone who's hungry, we serve every day. Anyone in need of special services, including diapers for parents, mothers who have small children and can't afford diapers, they can go to Mary House. So we really just cater to those who come, and we try to be open and use the philosophy of hospitality.
Okay, that's lovely how you guys are very inclusive. So as a whole organization, how does Loaves and Fishes operate? Do you have employees or is it mostly voluntary based?
Wow, that's a great question. it takes an army to really do all the works. So first you have staff, and they're all employed. And so each program, there's 14 programs, has a director and staff that help that program. For instance, Sister Nora's Place is a night shelter at Loaves and Fishes. So it has a director and about a staff of 8 who are there 24/7 catering to single women who are homeless with mental health issues. So that's one particular program. So overall, we have about less than 100 staff of Loaves and Fishes, but like I said before, over 1,000 volunteers. So they are what they call the backbone of Loaves and Fishes, are the community of Sacramento. And of course, the donors who give in-kind donations, from food to hygiene items to those who give financial need, is so important.
Okay, yeah. I know you touched upon this a little bit right now, but do you guys get funds from donors, or how do you keep the place running?
You got it. One of the philosophies of Loaves and Fishes, which not too many nonprofits do, but we do not receive any government assistance. So no government grants from the state or the federal or the city or the county. So we rely on private donations from individuals and from grants, private foundations such as Mercy Foundation, Sacramento Regional Foundation, and private people who give on a daily basis once a month. Believe it or not, to run 5 acres and 14 programs and serve 600 to 800 homeless people a day takes about $6 million a year. So it's a pricey little operation, but the miracle of Loaves and Fishes is after 30 years, people keep giving.
That's amazing. You mentioned earlier that you feed whoever is in need of food or anything. So how do you see that they have a healthy diet and everything in the different food groups?
That's great. So we provide just about everything, and you can pick and choose. So we always provide a main dish, vegetables, pasta, breads, fruit, milk, water, juice. We try to cover it all, and hope people will pick and choose what they need. But we never judge people of what they need, because if they have a whole plate full, it may be their only meal for who knows how long. So we never judge what's on their plate, and we just say, take what you need, and we're here to serve.
Okay, that's amazing how you guys are able to do that. So, I've served at Loaves and Fishes before, and I've
Cool.
noticed that every homeless person that comes in has like a token. How do you decide who gets these tokens or who doesn't?
Right. So we have to have some sort of system of who gets served first. And so we have what we call Friendship Park. And in the park, every individual can come and get a ticket, a token with a number on it. And that's the best way we can say how we can serve. So you can start getting a ticket as early as 7 in the morning. And then we serve the hot meal at 11:30 a.m. Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week. And so we always serve the first 100 at a time, and then we call the next number, next 200, the next 300, next 400. So if you get a ticket that says 800, don't worry, we make plenty of food, and the first receive just as much as the last.
Okay, that's amazing how we're able to make all that food as well as serve all these people who are in need. Um, let's talk about Mercy Peddlers, which you are a founder of. How did that idea come up, and what do you guys do?
Thank you. After 20 years of working at Loaves and Fishes, I was looking for a new direction, but I still had the passion and the energy to want to serve those who are homeless on the streets. And what I learned from Loaves and Fishes is sometimes it takes all day to get to Loaves and Fishes, bus, RT, just to get your meal, and then you have to go back to where you you live, whether it's, what community you live at, whether you're homeless in Carmichael or homeless in Oak Park, it takes a while to get there. So I thought, well, why don't we go to where homeless people are? So I kind of thought about this idea of mercy peddlers. So we actually are volunteers who pedal. We bike and we trike to where homeless people are. And on our trikes, we bring nutritional bars, hygiene items, coffee, water, snacks. Right now, masks and hand sanitizers, um, gloves and hats because it's cold. And we just try to connect with people where they're at. And it's nothing so thrilling than to ring your bell on your bike and say, "Good morning, how are you? Would you like a cup of coffee?" And for a person to actually wake up where they're at and say, "Oh, I'd love a cup of coffee," because nothing like starting out with a good fresh of coffee and a smile of someone who cares. So we try to connect and develop a trusting relationship with people on the streets where they're at.
Okay. I love that idea of being able to go to where they're at instead of having them come to you.
Mhm.
That's an amazing idea. So for this Mercy Peddlers, can the general public also help out? What can they do?
Ab- Absolutely. I do all of the orientations for people who are interested in Mercy Peddlers. So I keep an extra trike at my home. We don't have an office. We try to keep our operational costs down.
Mhm.
So I operate out of my home. And then I do a one-on-one with someone who's interested in serving, very simply, riding their trike and connecting with homeless people. So I do an orientation and really get them right off the bat the experience with my guidance to see if this is for them, and then give them options of how they can continue. They can find a partner to go out together, or they can check out one of my trikes here in Sacramento, or they can get a trike from me and do it from their home. We have some people who live in Carmichael who actually have a couple trikes in their own home and they go out from there. So for people in Folsom, I would love to start a Folsom team, get a couple trikes maybe at the school where they can go out once a week. I have a team at Wellspring Women's Center in Oak Park, so you may want to look them up. They're a great nonprofit, and they have Mercy Peddlers there, and they go out Tuesdays and Thursday, and all their volunteers go out in the Oak Park area. So there's lots of options to be a Mercy Peddler. And the biggest thing is to want to be present and non-judgmental to those who are on the streets.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's so important to, if you're going to serve, you got to be non-judgmental. Um, just in general, what were some of your challenges during COVID-19 and during this pandemic?
Oh, it's been really challenging. First off, most of my volunteers are retired. So I had 100 volunteers prior to COVID. Now I have maybe 30, because most of my volunteers are over the age of 65 and are really compromising their health by being out there. So that's a big loss on our part. So we're not able to connect with as many homeless people as needed. Um, Another challenge is, am I safe? Are my peddlers safe? So we really enacted a protocol of wearing masks, giving out hand sanitizers and masks too, and also taking temperatures. I have a thermometer and I take temperatures of homeless people on the streets too. And that not only is good for me to know that they're healthy at that moment, but they feel good too. Like, oh,
Yeah.
look, you care enough that you're taking my temperature, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a really, it goes back and forth to how we serve, and we do it out of care. One of the pluses of COVID is that many homeless people are able to stay in the different encampments without being harassed by law enforcement. So some of my peddlers are actually going by vehicles now and going into the encampments and bringing nutritional bars and health food and all that stuff, and using a table at the encampment so they can give safe distance, but also serve those who are in the encampments that are a little bit larger than unusual now, because you might see two or three or 10 tents in one area now.
Okay, that's amazing how you guys are able to still at maybe a smaller level, but still being able to go out and help others during this time. I
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk briefly about homelessness in general and how why are people homeless?
Oh, yeah. It's such a big problem, isn't it? It's not just a local city, county of Sacramento. It's California, it's the United States, it's globally. But here in the United States, we have a tremendous homelessness problem.
Mhm.
But in California, 20% of all those who are homeless in the United States live in California. So we have a big problem. And mainly it's because of the weather. We don't get a lot of snow here. So people can live outdoors safely, all year long. But some of the issues, of course, is the inability to pay for affordable rent. We do not have affordable rent, and we're going to get worse and worse with the epidemic. If people can't pay their rents, they're going to find themselves on that edge of being homeless. So affordable housing is lacking and we need more of it. We have a lot of mental illness that's not being cared by. They're not getting medication. There is no psychiatric units where people can go off the streets into a home. And another issue is addictions. We have addiction problem in the USA, not just among homeless people, but amongst anyone. Every category of people, there's addiction. And when you're homeless, it's very difficult because you work so hard on trying to feed your addiction that it keeps you on the streets too. And so we have addiction, mental illness. We have a lot of disabilities, people who are physically and mentally disabled. And it's not getting better, but worse. So we just cannot give up. And it's in Sacramento County, over 5,000 homeless men and women are on the streets. That's not counting those who are in shelters and in transitional housing. 5,000 folks at least.
That's so sad, but also amazing work that you're able to do to help these people. And I
Mhm.
hope that hearing all these statistics and numbers, it motivates you to go and help out in the community. I was just wondering, do you know what government policies are there on homeless and if they're good or bad for them?
Well, it's a big, you hear it in the news all the time, right? From Governor Newsom to Mayor Steinberg to the city council to even the county of Sacramento. So I think they're really trying to provide policies and opportunities and housing options for those who are homeless. And the whole point is don't give up, because you can build one affordable complex, say, that will serve 100 folks in a new complex. Well, you still got to chip away to the other 4,900. So it's something that you got to keep building. You got to build affordable housing. Room key is another policy that came from Governor Newsom and has trickled down to the county of Sacramento. And that has really helped many people who are homeless get into hotels and into permanent supportive housing. And they've served 500, 600, that maybe 1,000 folks. But again, that still leaves many thousand people on the streets. So there's a lot of policies out there. And again, affordable housing. We need more policies on safe grounds, like small little tent cities that are safe, safe parking spots, like little campgrounds where people can park their car and be safe and get provided services and all that. And they're working on them. But what's difficult with many of these great ideas, because they will work,
Yeah.
it's just that you run into what they call NIMBYism, not in my backyard. Nobody wants a parking lot with homeless people in their vehicles in their neighborhood. Nobody wants a shelter with homeless people in their neighborhood, which I understand, but we've got to find places in every aspect of the county, Folsom, Carmichael, Rancho Cordova. If everyone picks up and does 100, we can actually make a dent in homelessness.
Yeah. I've always wondered if the government policies were good or bad. And it's amazing how they're trying to help out, which is a big step. I just wanted to talk about what inspired you to start serving?
It like everyone, you go to school, you go to college, and you're always thinking, where am I called? What does God want me to be? What do I want to do? Where are my gifts and talents? So serving the Air Force was very instrumental in my direction. It really gave me a sense of commitment and service. But then I got my master's in social work, and that really kind of narrowed it down to I want to serve people who are vulnerable. And social work is a great background. So the idea of service for others really inspired me to keep searching and looking. And when I started volunteering at Loaves and Fishes, my heart was taken, and I haven't left there since.
That's an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Mhm,
I've everyone who serves and volunteers have an amazing heart, and
mhm,
I love listening to stories and how their background was, and as well as the homeless people, and how you say that you go talk to them, see how what they're doing, how their life is. it's
mhm,
um it's really nice that, and I feel they have that sense of, oh, someone cares about me,
mhm, mhm.
and I think that's amazing what you do through Loaves and Fishes and through Mercy Peddlers. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And
Thank you, Harini.
yeah, that's all I had. But thank you so much for listening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming. We really appreciated listening to your experiences and what you've done for our community. I would love to hear your suggestions and feedback. And if you would like to tell me what I can do better or feedback, you can email me at knowyourcharity5@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for coming, and thank you all for listening, and I'll see you all
All
next
right.
time.
God bless.